Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be part 8 of our Franchise Wars series. I got two little notes ahead of my ranking on this. One, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this is the final entry in it, the Leatherface, from 2018 will be the final entry from that one. So I have decided to go ahead and do a franchise ranking for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Also, that'll be coming up shortly. So also in this video, the entry from Nightmare on Elm Street will be Freddy vs. Jason. Everything about that movie just screams Nightmare on Elm Street series. It bears no resemblance to any of the other Friday the 13th movies. So I rank it and include it only with the Nightmare series. I don't put it in with Friday the 13th at all. So that was the movie that came out at this point for the Nightmare on Elm Street series, so that's the one I'm going to rank in this one. Alright, so let's get to number 4 on the list. Okay, so our number 4 position for this particular countdown is Jason Takes a Boat. I mean, Jason Takes Manhattan. This is, I make no secret about this, and when I eventually get to ranking the franchise, you won't be surprised then either. This is my least favorite Friday the 13th movie out of all of them. I really don't like it. The way that he's resurrected is dumb. The fact that he gets on the boat there at the beginning of it, and the guy that has the boat has a mask that has the same marks in it that from, yeah, I mean, it's horrible. All the stuff on the boat, the final girl is terrible. Her uncle is not a very strong secondary villain. Mostly he's just obnoxious, and I don't like him. I don't like her. I don't like the look of Jason. The gloopy, wet Jason is terrible. I like one scene out of the entire movie, and that's when Jason's walking down the street in New York and kicks the radio, and they threaten him, and he turns and lifts the mask and scares them off. I don't like the boxer kill. A lot of people do. I think it's dumb. I saw the punchline of it, pun intended, coming. I knew it was either going to be a heart punch or a head punch. And I hate this entry. I have absolutely nothing good that I can say about this entry other than I still like Kane Hodder. I really don't like Jason Takes a Boat. It's the weakest in the franchise, and it is by far, and that's saying something considering these movies, it is by far the worst on this list. So let's move on to number 3. So number 3 on this particular countdown is Halloween Resurrection. You know I don't like Friday the 13th Part 8 if I'm putting it below Halloween Resurrection. LL Cool J worked in H2O. Busta Rhymes does not work in this one. The cheap way they kill Lori off at the beginning, I completely understand. She killed an innocent person, so she's in a mental institute. Okay, I can go with that. That's more than likely what would have happened. They kill her off cheap. The story's not very well done. The ending of it is terrible. Like I said, Busta Rhymes doesn't work. I don't care about that he beats up Michael doesn't bother me one way or the other, because the rest of this movie is shit too. I don't think the portrayal of Michael is bad. I know a lot of people dump on that, but I don't think it's bad. It's not good. It's just kind of meh. I think that the idea of doing a reality show in the Myers house could have been good. I think if it had been handled well and done right, looking back on it, it would have been dated, but it could have been nostalgic for the 90s. It could have been nostalgic for the meta movies that came after Scream. But it's handled so poorly. The pin on cams and people not paying attention, and it's not well done. I really have nothing good to say about it. There's no real good standout performances in it. There's not really any. The characters are unlikable, all of them. So yeah, that's number 3 on this list, and it's bad. Let's move to number 2. Okay, so number 2 on my list on this one is 2018's Leatherface. It has problems. I'm not saying it doesn't. It has some issues. But rewatching it for this, I found a lot more good than bad with it. It's not really. Okay, so break it up into 3 parts. The ending is horrible, and I'll get to that in a minute. The beginning. This movie is designed to be the prequel to the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and leading into 3D being the new sequel to it. And the beginning of it just works way too hard to link the original with 3D. There's some nice nods to it to a point, but really it's just beating you over the head with we're gonna set up the original. We're gonna set up, but it only does it for the first 15 minutes of it. And then you get to the middle. Now, the middle part of this, if you took just the road trip, on the road, horror is actually really good. It's a really compelling story, breaking out of the asylum, the road movie that comes from that. All of that part is really good. They really try to give you somewhat of a feel of the time period. With the budget that they had, they of course couldn't, invest in a ton of cars and a ton of, aesthetic stuff to really sell it. But they work well with what they've got, and the middle section of this is really good. The beginning of it is, at best. The end of it is bad. Leatherface, I'm cool with Leatherface as an anti-hero. I'm cool with them setting that up, showing that he, putting him into the place in the original where he's abused, but he's mentally challenged in the original. In this one, the twist on it was a bad idea, and it's kind of dumb, and then they put it off like he's okay and fairly well adjusted considering, and then just one simple thing, one bad day in this turns him from that into being challenged mentally in the original. It doesn't work that way, and if that had been done in the 70s, where mental health wasn't where there wasn't as much out there about it as there is now, maybe you could have sold it, maybe it would have come off as nostalgic for filmmaking and ideas of that era. But this is not. This was 2018. It's not that long ago. The average person, just from what you pick up on TV and the nightly news, knows that one scarring his face isn't going to turn him from someone who's a fairly well-adjusted teenager, late teens, early 20s, whatever it is he's supposed to be at this point, into somebody with the IQ, with the mental acuity of a child. So I have real issues with the ending of it, and it really hurts the movie as far as that goes, because you know that's coming. But as far as the middle of it goes, it's actually pretty good. And it was good enough to make number 2 on this list. So let's move on to number 1. Okay, so number 1 in this particular listing is Freddy vs. Jason. I'm not a huge fan of this movie. It's, in this case, it's the lesser of the evils. What I am a fan of is the fight at the end of it. The fight between Freddy and Jason is epic, and it builds to it, and it doesn't disappoint at all. The first half of the movie, on the other hand, is better than part 6, but it's not as good as part 5, and I don't like part 5. The characters, again, are unlikable, uninteresting. They try to give you some character development, but it's not really very... It doesn't really make you want to care about them, and if you don't care about them when they get killed, they're just cannon fodder. A lot of people put down the dream sequences in it that involve Jason. The one where Freddy's watching him as a child, I think, is quite good. I quite like that one. The second one, or the second part of that, where they're in there and Jason's afraid of water, a lot of people give that moment shit. I'm neither here nor there. I don't hate it, but I don't like it. Being afraid of something in your dream that you're not afraid of in real life, that, you know, in reality you know what it is, but in your dreaming mind, if you know, you can still be afraid of it. So it's dumb and it's cheap, but at the same time, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. So that's our 4 on this list. Honestly, none of these are great. So yeah, this is kind of a rough one to go through. Rewatching all of these again was not as much fun as what some of these franchises rankings have been. So yeah, this is kind of... Alright folks, so that was our list on these 4. These are not great movies, but they are what they are. As always, check the links in the description below. I have a Patreon. I also have a Buy Me a Coffee. I have my Teespring link down below. All of my other links are down below. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of that stuff. Tune in next time for the 9th installment. Don't forget to watch my franchise ranking for TCM. And yeah, as always, y'all be good, y'all be safe, and y'all have a good one.